It says I'm live, so we are live. Oh my goodness. Right now? Nuh-uh. Ain't answering this call. I literally said just grab whatever to eat because I'm not being picky today. But anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in to the Chase Oliver 68 channel, the first venture of Flashback Friday. Now, this is not our original idea. You can call this pay-per-view reviews, I guess you could say. Not every one of these are going to be live. I feel like it's just fun every once in a while to go live. But I wanted to do something for a while where I talk about older pay-per-views and I just kind of like shoot the shit. Like I just kind of sit here, talk about them, not really necessarily reviewing them, but just kind of being like, wow, when I watch a show back, being like, wow, that really hit me. Now, if you guys want to know why I chose No Way Out 2008 to be this week's Flashback Friday, it was mainly because this week's Flashback Friday kind of came to me and I was like, oh man, this Elimination Chamber's coming out. How long has Elimination Chamber been a thing? And then I looked up the first Elimination Chamber pay-per-view and it led me to No Way Out. And I was like, oh yeah, this was the first time that they really used the Elimination Chamber. This was the first time that the Elimination Chamber came back. No Way Out 2008. After 2006, we got two Elimination Chamber pay-per-views. We went on ahead. We didn't have any in 2007. Now we're here in No Way Out. We have two chambers in one night. What's up, Degenerate Shargon? How you doing, my friend? So that's why I was like, man, let me go back. Let me do a Flashback Friday about, the Elimination Chamber, the deception pretty much of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Now, if you guys want to choose for the next Flashback Friday, whenever I sit down to record these or decide to go live with these, please leave them in the comment section of the playback. The playback. I am not saying like leave them in the comment section of the chat because that will get lost in the shuffle. If you really, really want to know like my thoughts about a pay-per-view or anything like that, you got to go ahead and leave it in the playback. Once I see the playback and once I see which ones get the most thumbs up, that's how I'm going to decide how I'm going to do these Flashback Fridays. But not all of them are going to be live. Because quite frankly, sometimes I want to add images. Like I'm not the greatest when it comes to the StreamYard to get all the images, Googling them in advance, so on and so forth. I don't have like another person here to like kind of pull that up as I'm talking along, which would be very, very helpful. I'm just me. So like really, to be honest, I'm just going to do that where it's like, hey, let's just talk about the event. Let's just talk about this show on the streams. But if you guys want some like loose editing, and what I mean by loose editing is just me talking, and then pictures going over the theme. That's what it's going to be. I want to try to get at least like, I like streaming live, but for my channel to kind of grow, I do need to upload some videos and not just always rely on doing a live stream. But No Way Out 2008 took place in the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. And oh man, the one thing I noticed, man, is just the promo package was so short. It didn't feel like it was like a super epic event. And then I heard the alternative rock music, Seether, Fake It. Oh, remember Seether? Oh my God, they were like WWE's favorite band at one point. Them and Red Theory, they were always getting the pay-per-view theme songs. But this was Fake It by Seether, and I was just like amazed by the fact that this had a custom stage. This event legit had a custom stage, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I miss from pay-per-views. Nowadays, WWE's so boring with their stages. Like, it's just the big Titantron, but with the graphics. Before, oh my God, the stages were so nice, and it's like, what happened to the creativity? What happened to this type of production? This is for No Way Out 2008. This isn't what's it called? This isn't like a regular pay-per-view. This isn't a SmackDown. This isn't a Raw. This is a pay-per-view. People are paying $60 at this time. Well, not really $60. Actually, I think this might have been before WWE changed to HD. So at the time, this was still with the scratch logo. I think the WWE HD logo first debuted at WrestleMania 24. That was the first time we saw the WWE HD logo. This was still with the scratch logo, so pay-per-views were $49.99. Now, if you decided to go back in the day, you could actually order Royal Rumble, No Way Out and WrestleMania 24 for a special bondage package with DirecTV for $84.99. Yeah, man, I swear Rep Theory literally had the Mania theme song, and then they also had the Extreme Rules theme song, if I believe. I remember it was Extreme Rules. I think Backlash was Daughtry. There and back again. Now you know my friend, and I will see you there and back again. Something like that. But this was No Way Out 2008. So the show opened up with Chavo Guerrero taking on CM Punk. Now, this was WWE's early phases of bad 50-50 booking, because I was like, oh, Punk versus Guerrero. I remembered that this happened, but I don't know what else like was going on at this time. And so all of a sudden they give you a promo package of the Mexico Golf street fight. So it was Extreme Rules match, but the winner was if they got thrown in golf. And of course, CM Punk won on the ECW episode. This wasn't for the pay-per-view. He won on the ECW episode. So what did they do for the pay-per-view? Pay-per-view was just a straight-up regular match. This is why I felt like WWE ECW never really succeeded, was that on the weekly shows, you would get, like pretty solid action, but then on the pay-per-views, they would give you crap. And then for the most part, it was always 50-50 booking. Now, at the time, they were obviously grooming and building CM Punk up. This was kind of like, hey, we got to get CM Punk ready. Now, before everything happened with Jeff Hardy getting suspended before WrestleMania 24, Punk wasn't in line to win Money in the Bank, but he was definitely one of the finalists, and you could tell that the company was high on him. Punk actually came out to this match, and he had zero reaction. Like, the fans, they weren't having it, but Chavo got a big pop, and it was because the Hispanic fans, they travel well. They traveled well for Chavo Guerrero, and he actually got the biggest pop, one of the bigger pops from rewatching this pay-per-view. So Chavo Guerrero got a really good pop in this match. CM Punk and Chavo, though, they had what was like, a basic 3-star match. It wasn't a terrible pay-per-view match, but it wasn't a good opener either. So I just remember that this match was pretty solid, and from like watching it live back in 2008 and going back and watching it, it still holds up. But you know what doesn't hold up? This World Heavyweight Championship match for the winner facing the champion at WrestleMania 24. This was Big Daddy V, Great Khali, Batista, Undertaker, Finlay, and MVP. Oh my God, this match was just eh. This match was just no bueno from the start. So pretty much this was the Batista and Undertaker show. Batista and Undertaker started off the match. They were the ones being built up the whole time. Big Daddy V came in and did Big Daddy V junk. Like, it was just pretty much Big Daddy V just running into people. And then afterwards, Batista and Undertaker double teamed him to get him out. And then they send Khali out. And it's like, oh my goodness, what are you doing here? And then Khali was doing the same thing Big Daddy V was doing. And then they finally get Khali out of there with Undertaker's Hell's Gate. This is when Undertaker's putting over the Hell's Gate finisher like crazy. I was like, okay, cool. At least the Hell's Gate's being put. And then the rest of the match was just a basic like SmackDown Fatal 4-Way match. MVP's a U.S. champion. Finlay is like worried about his son Hornswoggle, or his friend Hornswoggle at the time. Battling Vince McMahon inside a steel cage. Hornswoggle helped Finlay with the shillelagh. MVP took the biggest bump of the match, which was like a choke slam from the top of the pod. Finlay got an elimination off of that. But then Undertaker and Batista, they pretty much stole the show. And I really liked how they built up this match for Batista and Undertaker, because Batista and Undertaker, that was one of the top feuds in 2007. Both went 1-1 against each other. And that was Undertaker at WrestleMania and Batista inside Hell in a Cell. So that's why I like that match, the feud so much, was that, it was good of how they built up both of these men. And Batista ended up, losing to the Undertaker here. Undertaker's going on to WrestleMania, and we all know what happened there. He ended up beating Edge, becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, the next match was kind of like an match. The next two matches were kind of Ric Flair and Mr. Kennedy. If Mr. Kennedy beat Ric Flair, then Flair had to retire. This was building up the whole Ric Flair had to retire thing. He faced MVP, I believe, at the Royal Rumble, and now he's going ahead and facing Mr. Kennedy here. There was really no sauce in this match. Like, this match was very, very dull, I will say. It wasn't like the most interesting Ric Flair versus Mr. Kennedy match. It was just kind of like you never felt Rick was losing. You never felt like Rick was losing this match. You kind of knew that he was going to win. Like, it was like, yeah, he's winning this match. It was a pretty foregone conclusion that Ric Flair was going to win. Sean Jochter says only WrestleMania still gets good stages. This is whack. They should do it for the rest of the big four pay-per-views if they aren't going to do it for all of them. Yeah, exactly. Like, nowadays, like, they put the big four stages in arenas, but the stages still stink. It's just like a big Titantron. Batista/Taker was the feud of 2007. Oh, yeah, no, it was a killer feud, man. It was definitely a killer feud. I love that feud, man. I remember going to WrestleMania 23. I was more excited for Batista versus Undertaker than I was for John Cena and Shawn Michaels. I don't know why. I just wasn't caring for John Cena versus Shawn Michaels. WWE was still good. Pretty good in 07, 08. I agree, man. I would like to say the last year that I genuinely enjoyed WWE probably was 2008. Like, just genuinely overall was 2008. Floyd Mayweather should have cut heel promos in the crowd, would have been entertaining. Well, he was kind of being put as the babyface here. So the next match was the World Championship match. Now, I know what you guys are saying, Chase, why aren't you saying World Heavyweight Championship? For whatever reason, just because Rey Mysterio wasn't a heavyweight, the WWE would call the World Heavyweight Championship match whenever Rey held it or went for it, the World Championship. I don't know the reasoning behind this. It was just weird and odd, but this was the World Championship match between Rey Mysterio and Edge. Now, WWE, they actually did this before the pay-per-view, and they mentioned it. They talked about how Rey Mysterio had a torn bicep. He tore his bicep up at a house show. And so pretty much this led to like Edge and Rey Mysterio having to force themselves to have a quick match. But WWE was hoping Rey Mysterio's bicep would heal before WrestleMania 24 because they had a plan with Floyd Money Mayweather. So Mayweather and Rey Mysterio met up before the match backstage. Rey was congratulating the champ. And you could kind of tell the whole setup was for Floyd Mayweather to turn on Rey Mysterio here. But since Rey was actually injured and they didn't know if they could get Rey back, they pretty much called an audible to make it where it was Floyd Mayweather versus the Big Show. Because originally the plan was Rey Mysterio and Batista versus Mayweather and Big Show. And you can kind of tell that this was the plan. Like, they were going to have something like that. But because of Rey Mysterio's torn bicep, they changed everything. So this match right here, Edge and Rey Mysterio, it was a valiant effort from Rey Mysterio in real life because he actually had a legit torn bicep. It was a quick match. Edge ends up retaining. But the big story was the Big Show returning. Big Show, not only did the Chamber return in 2008, but here comes the Big Show. Big Show came back in 2008, and I remember when Big Show came back, it was shocking. One, he accepted the bald head. He was just like, screw it, I'm just going to go with the bald head gimmick. And then two, he looked slim. Like, y'all don't remember when Big Show, what's it called? When Big Show came back, it was like shocking because he was actually slimmer than he usually is. So it was like kind of crazy. It's like, oh wow, Big Show, he's back. So Big Show came back and then pretty much, decided like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and act babyface for a minute. And then he's about to beat up Rey Mysterio. And then Floyd Mayweather goes and he jumps over the barricade, man. It was like so awkward too. Like his whole team is following Mayweather. One of his dudes trips. And so then Big Show goes, hey man, let me go ahead and let me go ahead and go down for you, pretty boy Floyd. Let me go down. And the crowd legit pops when Mayweather goes ahead and lands the nicest and sickest combo onto Big Show. Legitimately, I don't know if it breaks Big Show's nose, but he busts Big Show up open. And Big Show even said, too, he was heated at that moment because he didn't really think Floyd was going to go that hard. And so, it was bad when Shane McMahon, who barely showed himself on WWE TV at that time. The last time we saw Shane on WWE TV, he was doing the whole DX crap with his dad. He was coming out to calm down Big Show. Floyd's whole team is running away. Floyd ran away, and that led to, you know, the Floyd Mayweather and Big Show bout that we saw in 2008. But it's crazy to think one injury changes the whole bout around and almost changes the whole pay-per-view around. This PPV is the last time the Elimination Chamber had blood. Yeah, I was kind of, you know, it's crazy going back and watching this. Undertaker and Batista cut up, and I was like, yo, it's crazy. These guys have blood nowadays, man. They don't even bleed. My bed greater than the Big Show. Why are you disrespecting? He returned on this night, man. Why are you disrespecting the Big Show like this? Come on, man. Don't disrespect Big Show like this, bro. Don't disrespect Big Show. But yeah, so Big Show came back, and it was a cool moment to see the Big Show come back. So I was chilling with it. I really liked it. But after this, the pay-per-view quality-wise just kind of went downhill. This was like this was like bad WWE at this point. Now the chamber match was good. I ain't gonna deny that, but just the storylines, not good. We all know John Cena returned at the Royal Rumble 2008. And John Cena, being Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect, he decided that, why wait till WrestleMania? How about I take your ass, Orton, and beat you here at No Way Out? And it was kind of like really? Do we really need John Cena versus Randy Orton? Oh, man. Like, that was one of the matches where I was just like, man, I was just not looking forward to it. Like, I literally wasn't really looking forward to John Cena versus Randy Orton. Like, why couldn't you do this at Mania? Because Triple H came back, and we need to have Triple H somehow in the Mania match. And it was one of those things that I was just like, what is WWE doing here? Like, Cena literally comes back, gets a good babyface reaction coming back, and instead of making it just waiting till WrestleMania, you have to have a second chamber match. You have to have a plan for Triple H. So, of course, you got to go put Triple H over in the WWE Elimination Chamber match or the number one contendership. And, of course, you make the 2008 Royal Rumble seem absolutely meaningless because it's wasted here at No Way Out. It's not even at WrestleMania. It's at No Way Out. Now, Cena and Orton, by this point, they've kind of, worked with each other enough. They kind of know how each other works. And so pretty much John Cena and Randy Orton, they had a simple match. But of course, this was like peak, like we've seen enough, like LOL Cena wins. This was peak LOL Cena wins. And this was peak, and this was one of Orton's worst title reigns. I know a lot of people like this title reign, but this was one of Orton's worst title reigns. And so Orton's about to lose to John Cena. And of course, since Orton's about to lose, he just slaps the referee so that way he can get himself disqualified because the champion keeps the belt if they get disqualified, but the babyface wins. So it's a safe finish. It's like, hey, we'll keep the heel with the heat, but the babyface, he won't look bad. It's so that way you can get a return match. That's the reason why they do this. But at this time, WWE was over-relying on the fact that, whenever Orton's about to lose, he will get disqualified or roll out of the ring. Like that was pretty much like Orton's title reign at this moment of time. Like against Jericho, he was about to lose, but then JBL beats up Jericho and something like that. Like Orton's only clean win in his title reign was against HBK, and that was like kind of semi-clean. And then against Jeff Hardy at the Rumble. So yeah. I wonder what was the original plan for WrestleMania 24. For what? Which match? Mayweather's WrestleMania entrance was awesome, but the song got removed from Peacock. Oh, yeah, well, isn't it like Mayweather's actual song, or did he come out? Yeah, because he didn't come out to I Get Money. So that's a fun fact about Mayweather's theme music. Mayweather was supposed to come out to I Get Money by 50 Cent. That's normally one of his walkouts that he chooses, but him and 50 started beefing at that time. So Mayweather and 50 were beefing. So Mayweather's like, screw it. And Mayweather made his own song called Yep. So if you want to know what the Mayweather entrance music was for WrestleMania 24, it was Yep by Floyd Mayweather. So that was Mayweather's entrance music at the time. And that's sad that it got removed. I haven't watched WrestleMania 24. I normally kind of go back and watch some of the Manias before the actual Mania event. So that's kind of a bummer going back to it. Oh, the WWE title. The original plans, from what I know, is that it was supposed to be a Cena versus Triple H trilogy. So Cena versus HH at 22, Triple H versus Cena at 23, and then 24 was going to be the ultimate deciding factor of who's the best, Cena or Triple H, which most likely Cena would have probably won. But of course, injuries happened, and I probably think that they probably want to go with Cena versus Triple H 2 at 24, but then they didn't want to leave Randy Orton high and dry. So yeah, Mayweather would have made for an entertaining pro wrestler. Well, he is kind of a pro wrestler. He did it. He did pro wrestling for a minute. But yes, no, Cena versus Orton was a forgettable match. But the No Way Out 2008 Chamber, I think a lot of people look at this Chamber match, and a lot of people really, really like this match. I went back and I watched it today, and I was like, this was fine. I just didn't like, because the WWE title match left a bad taste in my mouth. And then it was like the storyline of it all was just kind of like dumb, because what was the point of the Royal Rumble? What was the point of this match too, especially because we know who wins at WrestleMania 24. But this one was Triple H, Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Umaga, and JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. Pretty much this was Chris Jericho versus Triple H to start. Chris Jericho versus Triple H, and then pretty much like this was all about building up Triple H. This was all about the game. You know, Triple H did all the work in this match, and Chris Jericho got all the eliminations. Although this was Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho, I forgot. Yeah, Triple H took a little bit. Triple H came in and he cleaned house near the end. That's how this match went. I totally forgot, man. But yeah, Triple H, and I just watched the match too. That's how much I was just like paying attention to this match. But yeah, Triple H, like the ending sequence between Triple H and Jeff Hardy is really, really good. And you can tell at this time, this was when Vince is kind of gauging, hey, how popular is Jeff Hardy? Like, is Jeff Hardy popular? Because Jeff Hardy got to enter the chamber last. He got the massive pop when his pod opened. He got to go ahead and do all his moves. And, you know, he almost came in and he almost got a big win of his career, but then it ended up, you know, not happening, you know. So, yeah, and especially with Shawn Michaels in there too, you know, Triple H was pretty much like clearing house at that moment of time. it was goofy. It was Reign of Terror Triple H, but it wasn't like for any belt. It was just kind of eh. But this chamber match, I feel like a lot of people like the final three with Triple H, Michaels, and Jeff Hardy. Umaga does well in this chamber. This is way better than the SmackDown chamber. I think a lot of people looked at the SmackDown chamber and they're like, that was such a bad match, and they compare it to this match. And especially because the chambers have been gone for so long, people compare them, and people like this match a lot. And at the time, it probably was like the second or third best elimination chamber, with O2 being the best and the New Year's Revolution 2005 being second best in that. So yeah, that's what Regal used to call him, Umaga. He used to call Umaga Umaga. It was like hilarious. I loved it. Was this after Mayweather beat De La Hoya and Haddon? Yeah, it was right after. It was right after this. Like, no, this was after De La Hoya, because I don't think Mayweather fought Haddon right away. Let me check. I can't remember off the top of my head. Mayweather versus Haddon. But I know he beat De La Hoya. I know for a fact that he beat De La Hoya. Ricky Hatton. Oh, yeah, he did beat Ricky Hatton before this. Okay. Because I remember he was hot with the De La Hoya, but yes, this was after the Ricky Hatton fight. Really good fight. Probably one of Floyd's best fights is against Ricky Hatton, too. A Cena / Triple H trilogy. Yeah, that was the plan. The Cena / Triple H trilogy, where John Cena and Triple H decide who's the best. I feel like that would have worked out, but injuries got in the way and stuff. But looking back at No Way Out 2008, to be honest, I like that they brought back the chambers, but it started the bad trend where they put the chambers now in February. And that was something that I didn't like. I don't like the chambers being in February. I think the chambers ultimately belong, you know, on a different show, or being built up where there's at least some feuds where it's like, hey, we can end them all in the chamber. That's what I feel like an elimination chamber is for, because that's what I'll say about the Raw chamber. The SmackDown chamber had no interlooping feuds besides they had no interlooping feuds besides, you know, Batista and Undertaker. The Raw chamber at least had like Triple H and Umaga in there. You had Shawn Michaels feuding with the Triple H and, starting his Jericho stuff. You had Jericho with JBL. You had feuds. You had Jeff Hardy and Triple H, Jeff Hardy and Umaga. You had feuds that were interlooping where you could say, like, justify, like, yeah, these feuds need to end inside of a chamber. That's what the chamber match is ultimately for, where you can go ahead and, interloop feuds and stuff. That the SmackDown chamber was just like, all right, we got a bunch of big guys. Let's throw them inside the chamber. So, yeah. Going back, though, Elimination Chamber, if I were to say about the show, it was all right. No Way Out 2008. It was all right. It was a watchable show for sure, but it was just an all right show in the end. Do you like the idea of heel Cena versus Space Hardy at Mania 24? Would have been good, but just imagine, remember, Jeff got popped at this time. He got popped for an illegal substance. So just think about it, man. You go ahead and you put all the eggs in the Jeff Hardy basket, and that happens. Yeah, that's something that you need to think of. But anyways, boys, I'm just gonna let you guys know this stream is was gonna be a little bit shorter, mainly because I did a bunch of long live streams today. So that's why live streams this past week. It's Friday night. Your boys gotta go do something on Fridays. I just wanted to do a quick Flashback Friday stream, see if how the idea went and stuff. But I feel like going forward, some of these will be live streamed where I get to interact with you guys. And then some of them will definitely be recorded. And then, with a little bit of editing and music and, just to add to the ambiance as I'm talking about the show. But yeah, if you guys like this type of concept and you guys want me to review a certain Flashback pay-per-view, go ahead when this is on the playback, put that in the comment section. My only suggestion is that make sure it's at least like don't put anything from 2012 to now. Like 2012 still, I feel like kind of recent. It doesn't feel like it's Flashback yet, but anything 2011 and below, go ahead and leave a suggestion. And I said in the playback, Yagon Keenan, also 2013 SummerSlam is way too clean, way too close. But yeah, go ahead and leave a suggestion in the comment section. You can leave at least one, maybe two suggestions in the comment section. Give other people chances too. And I'll let you guys know what the next Flashback Friday is. Like I said, Flashback Friday, it's not going to be like something that I do every Friday, but it's something that I want to at least do every once in a while on the channel. Yagon King, you're not even listening to the rules. I said on the playback. This is the live stream you're on. The playback. On the playback. So once the video is up, then leave your comments for some videos and stuff like that. And if you add extra reasoning, it helps out a little bit more too. Like if it ties into something of a current event in wrestling. The reason why I did No Way Out 2008. Hey man, the Elimination Chamber is coming up. So that's why I did No Way Out 2008. It's the first pay-per-view to really kick off the Elimination Chamber trend. But anyways, guys, you guys enjoy your Friday night. Hopefully you avoided SmackDown. Who's back? It's Goldberg. You're next. It is what it is. I'll see you guys in the next stream. Well, tomorrow's video is going to be an upload of me showing off what I got from the WWE pop-up in Los Angeles, California. You guys take care and enjoy your night.